Hey everyone, it's me Tim from FTA Adventures. Today I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes to avoid making when you're motorcycle camping. These are not only for beginners, these are going to make a great refresher and reminder for those of you who have been camping a lot. Stick around. So like I said, today we're talking about 5 mistakes to avoid making when motorcycle camping. And the first mistake is not checking fire regulations. A lot of places in the United States, especially out west, have fire restrictions in place during the summer months, and you definitely want to make sure you check out what exactly are the regulations. Are you allowed to have a campfire? Can you have a campfire but maybe you need a permit for it? Things like that. You just want to make sure that if you're not supposed to have a fire, that you're not having one. You definitely don't want to cause a wildfire. If they're saying that conditions are prone to wildfires and they don't want people having campfires, then make sure you stick with that. Mistake number 2 is setting up in the dark. This is something that still happens to me, although I'm working on it and getting better day by day. But setting up in the dark, number 1, you're going to be fumbling and not having a good time setting up your tent and your equipment. Number 2, if you're using your headlight to set up in the dark, make sure that you run your bike for a little bit before you shut it off. That way the battery has a chance to recharge. Now, I was just on a camping trip recently where somebody had a dead battery first thing in the morning, and it wasn't fun to have to deal with that when we were ready to hit the road and start our adventure for the day. So make sure that you don't kill your battery setting up in the dark. Plus, you want to get there early enough that you could take a look around before you set up your tent. Look for things like widowmakers and other hazards that you can really have a much easier time finding when it's daylight out. Mistake number 3 is not being bear aware. Even if you're not in bear country, just being cautious with your food storage, how you go about preparing your food and all of that. Just assume that there's bears in the area even if there aren't, because this is going to help with any animal. Could be a raccoon, could be field mice that attract a larger animal. Raccoons can be a real pain in the butt. I've had pesky raccoons that just want to shake the tent all night trying to get at something that they think is in there. So make sure that you're being bear aware, dealing with your food storage and all of that. Mistake number 4, this one I have definitely made. Actually, recently I made this mistake, and that is not bringing enough water. You want to make sure that you're staying hydrated if you're outdoors. Even if it's not hot out, you may be sweating more than you realize being in camp, being active, setting things up, riding the bike all day. You want to make sure that you're staying hydrated and that you bring plenty of water to be comfortable around camp. That means water for cooking, water for cleaning, water for drinking. All of that stuff needs to be accounted for. I find usually that a gallon of water is pretty good for me for one night. Deals with dinner, cooking, cleaning dishes, washing up, coffee in the morning, breakfast in the morning, and then I just chug the rest of it before I take off. So that's mistake number 4. Mistake number 5 is not having an emergency plan or a contingency plan. It's a good idea to let somebody know where you're going to be camping so that someone knows where you are. But what if something goes wrong? How will you get your bike towed? How will you get in touch with people? Carrying something like a Spot or a Garmin InReach is a great idea if you're out in the backwoods. But if you're not in the backcountry, you still want to have an emergency plan in place. You know, have your first aid kit with you. Make sure somebody knows where you are, and have a plan, a backup plan in case something goes wrong. Do you have towing coverage on your insurance? Do you have towing coverage on your insurance? Things like that. So those are the 5 mistakes to avoid making when motorcycle camping. If you want more tips and tricks like this, I have a book called The Fundamentals of Motorcycle Camping. I'll link it down below in case you guys want to check it out. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.